Well, who better to set Harry straight and give us some insight into the rebellious prince and what it means for us in this country than the legendary historian, Mr. David Starkey.
Doctor, if we're being formal, otherwise known as David.
OK, David. Well, when you're on my show, you're Doctor. Here at Mark Stein, you're just Starkey to me now. I'll have you on my show so much. Right.
Little pet.
David,
little pet.
Thank you, Doctor, for sitting there and listening to me banging on. What have you made of it all this week? As we come towards the end of the week, we've learnt so much about him, things we never wanted to know.
That's true. You were saying he was a journalist. I think I've got a new name for him.
Go on.
Deep throat. He has become...
You might have to clarify that.
Well, it's a famous person who leaked. And he has become... This is not journalism. He is the insider who betrays. Once again, he's become the mirror image, the black to the white of his late grandmother. The Queen, with her permanent silence, the occasional meaningful word, you know, and how nice it is that the Scots haven't gone independent, the little purr. Suddenly now, you have a permanent stream of not very reliable insider gossip.
Yeah. So what will they all... We saw them today, David. We saw the royals out and about today. As I say, they were all waving nicely and probably muttering under their breath. Will they have made a decision already about what happens at the coronation, do you think, in terms of their
I think the king will be torn. The king is torn. He claims still. After all, Harry is his child. Harry was once a lovable boy.
Yeah.
He tried desperately hard, under terrible circumstances, to be a good father. We know about the emotional constipation, but then look at how he was greeted when he hadn't seen his mother for 6 months,
Yeah.
Effectively a handshake.
Yeah.
But what the king will be torn with is the desperate wish that he should be there, that the person who, remember, is the second adult in line to the throne. OK, there were 3 children ahead of him, but he should have been there as one of the king's 2 proud, strapping young sons who would help their father towards this enormous task ahead of him. Instead, they can't trust him. This is the most terrible thing that he's done. And you haven't mentioned this. It is the betrayal, the constant betrayal of trust and confidence.
That constitution is built on nothing but trust, isn't it?
Well, the whole way in which you can manage being a family, which at the same time is an institution, you have to have a border. There has to be a boundary. Otherwise, you do something that the Queen said she would never be. Harry has become... He's not become a journalist. He's become the cheapest of cheapest D-list celebs.
Yeah.
The only thing about a D-list celeb that matters is you know every single disgusting detail of their private lives. He makes the Kardashians look dignified. I never thought I would be able to utter those words. You never thought you would hear them. No. But he really does. It's a constant... to discuss whether or not you and your brother are circumcised publicly. Yeah. It's self-muckraking.
Yeah.
He is putting the contents, not simply of his waste paper basket, but of his bathroom bin in the public eye. When I did the interview with Nigel on this, and we talked about what happens when you become a devotee. It's a behaviour, again, of a person who's undergone a kind of religious conversion. There's even a phrase for it in the Bible. It's speaking in tongues, this kind of uncontrolled flow. But it's an uncontrolled flow that destroys him. He would have wished it to destroy the institution, but instead it's turning back on him.
What about in America, David? Do you think the Americans... I believe that the tide is even turning over there now.
Yes.
They've always been very supportive of...
Let's quickly set the stage. Dr. David Starkey isn't some loudmouth tabloid figure. He's a British constitutional historian, a respected academic, and a longtime royal commentator. He's known for being sharp, unapologetically opinionated, and sometimes controversial. So, when Starkey talks about the monarchy, people listen, even if they don't always agree. And when he compares Prince Harry to the Kardashians, he's not talking about style. He's talking about drama, attention-seeking, and public image manipulation. Here's the full quote Starkey dropped in a recent interview. Prince Harry makes the Kardashians look dignified.
Ouch.
This wasn't said lightly. Starkey was criticizing Harry's endless media exposure, from the Oprah interview, to Netflix, to Spare, to every podcast and mental health panel he could get on.
Well, a group has. Remember, Harry corresponds to pretty much Democrat versus Republican, Democrats in favour. And here it is Remainers, at least young ones, loved Harry, and wicked leavers like me and probably you.
I was a Remainer, but now I'm a leaver.
What am I talking about? Sorry, dear me, I'm getting as confused as Harry. It was Remainers who loved him, and Leavers who hated him. So in other words, it's exactly the same divide. And in America, remember, he became a kind of gospel boy. He became a front for woke. Did you not say the Prince of Woke at the beginning? But even I think the woke are tiring of him, because of course the great problem is he reveals just how destructive woke is. Woke is seen in Harry as something that's only about destroying. It's got no positive values. It's also, of course, that he's so inconsistent about it. On the one hand, lining up the David Olusogas, the Afua Hirsches and whatever, this wicked racist institution, this Empire Mark II, in the film, in the Netflix series. And then, when he's actually questioned about it in detail, oh no, they weren't racist at all. So he can't hold steady to one single position. His religious conversion is not yet complete. The only thing that is clear is there's a complete disintegration of a personality.
So you're used to looking backwards as a historian, but I want you to look forward now into your little crystal ball and predict what will become of him.
Historians shouldn't do that. That's the point.
Go on.
And that's the point at which. That's the point. That's at which the point.
He said Harry has turned his life into a reality show of royal misery. And you know what? He's not wrong. Because every time Harry and Meghan try to take a step back, they come back with a camera crew, a book deal, or a new list of grievances. At this point, they're not stepping out of the spotlight. They're building their own. Now, let's be clear. The Kardashians built an empire on oversharing. They turned personal drama into a billion-dollar business. But at least they own it. At least they're honest about being celebrities. But Harry? He still wants the royal treatment without the royal responsibility. He wants privacy, while filming documentaries. He wants respect, while trashing his family on TV. And, according to Starkey, that's worse than the Kardashians. Because at least Kim and Kris never pretended they were serving the nation. So, what's the public saying? Well, it's split, but more and more people are starting to feel what Starkey said. That Harry's media behavior is making the monarchy look cheap. Not modern. Not open. Just messy.
I will do. But I'm just going to put in that's the point at which you become a charlatan.
Right.
I mean, I think what you said is right. His destiny is to become an increasingly diminished figure in California. This is a boy who began at Sandhurst, standing up straight, in uniform, looking great. He will finish up a shambolic, probably rather druggy figure somewhere in California.
Possibly doing tattoos and nipple piercing.
We did hear a little bit about his todger, as he called it, didn't we? Maybe there could be one. But you can see. But
conversations you never think you're going to have.
But can't you see how it could go?
Yes, I can.
I mean, I said with his mother, who. In some ways, Harry has become his mother. He's become his mother's worst side. I say the peculiarity about Diana, who is the daughter of an earl and countess, the flower of the English shires. She behaved as though she'd been born in Orange County. She was a sort of natural Californian.
Royal fans are tired of the victim narrative. Critics of the monarchy are calling Harry out of touch. And even neutral observers are saying if you're going to leave the royal family, then leave. Stop monetizing the trauma. Stop dragging the institution down while profiting from its name. That's what Starkey was really saying. that Harry has become the very thing the royals are supposed to stand against: celebrity without substance. So here we are. Prince Harry, once the people's prince, is now being compared to the Kardashians, and not in a flattering way. Dr. David Starkey didn't just make a cheap dig. He called out what many are seeing, that Harry is drifting further from royal dignity and deeper into the world of clicks, cameras, and chaos. The question now isn't whether the comparison is harsh, it's whether it's accurate.
And this has been fulfilled in Harry. And what I think is also interesting is the way the two boys have divided so absolutely, extraordinarily. So William has become not even his father, he's become a kind of masculine version of his grandmother. Whereas Harry has become the ultimate version of Diana. And the one thing he's not good at, unlike Diana, he's not yet learned to pose properly for photographs. But if you imagine, I mean, maybe this is the next stage, Meghan and Harry in front of the Taj Mahal doing something memorable for the front page of The Sun.
Well, I feel like for now we've got a little reprieve from Harry-ness, don't you? Until the next book and the next series.
And we don't want a little touch of Harry in the night. Thank you very much.
And on that bombshell, Dr. David Starkey, thank you so much for joining me.
What do you think? Is Starkey being brutally honest, or just brutal? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're tired of royal hypocrisy, manufactured victimhood, and reality show royals, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell, because this drama, yeah, it's not even close to over. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.